Picture this for a second. Right now, in the exact supermarket you visit weekly, resting quietly in the fresh produce section you likely walk past without much thought, are vegetables so potent, so deeply proven by research, that they can actively change how your system protects itself at the microscopic level? And we aren't discussing tiny gains, we're discussing defense against the greatest risks to human wellness, malignancy, glucose issues, cardiac problems, and long-term swelling, the very illnesses linked to millions of fatalities every year. I am Dr. LANA Mitchell, and after over 20 years in medical practice, I have seen endless patients pay thousands on pills, therapies, and prescriptions, frequently missing some of the most powerful restorative assets available. Items that cost under $2 a pound. Today, I am going to show 4 vegetables that are not just trendy ideas or brief fads, but are backed by intense peer-reviewed academic studies as some of the most effective organic shields your anatomy has against illness. And I promise you, by the time we reach number 1, you will be truly amazed. So stay with me because what you are about to discover has the power to really change your wellness. First, we must grasp a vital fact. Malignancy and most long-term diseases do not emerge instantly. They develop quietly over time through a cycle fueled by cellular rust and constant irritation. Think of cellular rust as internal decay, like oxidation slowly forming inside your frame. Every single day, your units are hit by free radicals, erratic atoms created by refined snacks, ecological poisons, tension, and even basic physical tasks. When these free radicals best your natural shields, they start to harm your genetic code, disrupt vital internal signaling, and over time, that harm can spark the start of malignancy. So the true inquiry becomes, what can halt this domino effect? What boosts your body's power to shield and fix itself? The reply consistently returns to one major element, your nutrition. And these 4 vegetables rank at the very peak of that guard system. Let's start with number 4, and this one is going to amaze a lot of you. It is broccoli. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, yes, yes, I realize broccoli is nutritious, I want you to listen to me because what most folks do not realize is why broccoli is nearly shockingly potent. Broccoli sits in a category of flora called cruciferous greens, and inside broccoli, there exists an element called sulforaphane. When you bite raw broccoli or lightly steam it, a protein called myroinase turns a starter element into sulforaphane, and that is where the true brilliance occurs. A major study found in the records of the National Academy of Sciences discovered that sulforaphane can actually pinpoint and kill malignant stem units. These are the notably risky units that are tough against standard clinical treatments and are blamed for malignancy returning after care. The report showed that sulforaphane cut the count of mammary malignant stem units by nearly 65%. Let me state that again, nearly 65%. And this was not just one report. Studies from Johns Hopkins University, where sulforaphane was first found, have regularly shown that this element triggers what are named phase 2 cleaning proteins in the liver. Proteins that basically help your frame neutralize toxins and eject them before they can harm your genetic code. One handy tip I give all my patients, lightly steam your broccoli. Do not cook it to pulp because high heat kills myrosinase. Or better yet, eat some of it uncooked. And here is a secret most folks do not realize. Dust a tiny bit of mustard seed powder on steamed broccoli. Mustard seed contains its own myroinase, which vastly boosts sulforaphane intake. Tiny shifts, massive results. Now let's move to number 3. And this is where I want you to focus because this vegetable has one of the most striking malignancy-fighting tales in all of wellness science. I am talking about garlic. And I realize what some of you are thinking. Garlic is not really a vegetable, but biologically and dietary-wise, it totally is. And it earns its spot on this list more than nearly anything else. Garlic contains an element called allicinin, which is freed when you mash or slice a raw garlic bulb and let it rest for about 10 minutes before heating. That 10-minute waiting gap is extremely vital, and I will clarify why in just a second. The World Health Organization's eating tips for boosting wellness actually suggest a daily dose of 2 to 5 g of fresh garlic. That is roughly 1 bulb, mainly for its shielding traits against illness. A big review published in the paper Cancer Prevention Research viewed over 27 separate reports and found that folks with the most garlic intake had a notably lower risk of intestinal malignancy compared to those with the least intake. Another report from the National Cancer Institute found links between garlic eating and lower risk of stomach, throat, pancreatic, and breast malignancies. Now, here is the science behind it. Allicin and its related elements, including owain and diol sulfide, have been shown to cause something called apoptosis in malignant units. Apoptosis is basically planned unit death. It is how your frame naturally gets rid of broken or weird units. Malignant units, by their very style, have found paths to skip apoptosis. They refuse to perish. Elements in garlic basically cancel that skip and push those malignant units back into a self-destruct mode. Now, about that 10-minute rule, when you mash garlic and show it to air, the protein alliin turns alien into allicinin. But if you toss garlic right into a hot pot without letting it chill, heat kills that protein before it can finish the change, and you miss a big part of the helpful elements. 10 minutes at room temperature before heating. That one routine could make a massive difference in the dietary gain you are actually receiving from your garlic. And garlic does not end at malignancy prevention. Reports have also shown that it cuts bad cholesterol, drops blood pressure, and has strong germ-killing traits. This is truly one of nature's most flexible cures. We're at number 2 now, and this vegetable is one that I term the quiet guard because it acts softly deep within your units in ways that most folks never consider. It is spinach. Now, spinach is dense in so many nutrients that it is nearly tough to know where to begin. It holds folate, which is vital for genetic code building and repair. It is packed with carotenoids, mainly lutein, zeaxanthin, and beta-carotene, which are strong protectors that clean up those free radicals we mentioned before. But what really puts spinach apart in the talk about malignancy and illness is its remarkably high level of something called MGDG and SQDG, monogalactoyl daciglycerol, and sulquinovosyl diacylglycerol. Those are long terms, I know. But what you must know is that experts at Osaka Prefecture University in Japan discovered that these elements block a protein called DNA polymerase alpha, which is the same protein that malignant units use to clone their genetic code and split. In other words, these elements in spinach literally stall the malignant unit's power to copy itself and grow. Past malignancy, spinach is incredibly shielding against heart-related illness. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition discovered that folks who ate spinach and other leafy plants daily had a much lower risk of heart issues, largely due to the high nitrate level in spinach, which boosts vein flexibility and drops blood pressure. Spinach also holds an element called camperol, a flavonoid that a big report published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found to be linked with a 40% drop in the risk of female reproductive malignancy among women who ate it often. 40% from a leafy plant that costs almost nothing. And here is something most folks do not realize. Heating spinach actually boosts the availability of specific nutrients like beta-carotene and iron, while eating it raw peaks folate. So ideally, you want to eat spinach in both styles often. Blend it into drinks, cook it lightly in olive oil, put it in broths, eggs, grain. The choices are vast. And now we have reached number 1. The vegetable that, in my expert view, backed by a rising and grand pile of academic proof, is the lone, most strong malignancy fighting, wellness restoring vegetable you can consume. And that vegetable is beets. I can see some of you were not expecting that. Beets, those rich, dark red bulb vegetables that most folks either adore or shun. And I totally get if beets have not been a big part of your food. But after you hear what I am about to say, I think that is going to shift. Beets get their amazing dark red shade from a group of dyes called betalains, mainly betacins and betacinthins. These are not just pretty dyes. They are among the most strong, protective, and anti-swelling elements found anywhere in the botanical world. A study published in the paper Molecules discovered that betannins, the main dyes in red beets, block tumor unit expansion in human gut, stomach, chest, and breast malignancy unit lines. Another report published in the European Journal of Nutrition discovered that beet liquid extract stopped the expansion of male reproductive and breast malignant units by over 50% in lab settings. Now, lab settings are different from a living human frame, and I always want to be clear about that gap. But paired with group studies and the amazing mechanical proof we have, the scene is very strong. Here is what else beets do that most folks are totally unaware of. Beets are notably high in nitrates, organic nitrates, not the fake kind found in cured meats. In your frame, those organic nitrates are turned to nitric oxide, which is a molecule that does something great. It eases and widens your blood veins, vastly boosting flow and cutting blood pressure. A key report from Queen Mary University of London discovered that sipping just 1 cup of beet liquid per day cut blood pressure in high-pressure patients by a mean of 8 points top number, a drop that is matched to some blood pressure drugs. This better flow also means more air and more guard units being sent to every part in your frame, including parts that need to fight off weird unit growth. Beets are also one of the top food sources of betaine, an element that helps shield your units from outside stress and plays a key part in a cycle called methylation, which is basically how your frame flips genes on and off. Right methylation is extremely vital in malignancy prevention because one of the signs of malignancy growth is weird methylation types that mute tumor-blocking genes. Beaten from beets helps back healthy methylation and keep those shielding genes busy. And past all of that, beets are high in fiber, folate, manganese, and vitamin C, nutrients that together back your guard system, your gut wellness, and your body's power to clean. You can bake them, juice them, cut them raw into salads, or mix them into drinks. If you have been avoiding beets due to their dirt taste, try baking them with a bit of olive oil and sea salt. You will be shocked at how sugary and tasty they turn. So let's bring this all together because I want you to leave today with something useful. Number 4, broccoli and its sulforaphane elements that kill malignant stem units and trigger your liver's cleaning proteins. Eat it lightly steamed or raw and use that mustard seed hack to peak intake. Number 3, garlic with its allicin and sulfur elements that cause apoptosis in malignant units, shield your heart and strengthen your guard system. Mash it, let it rest 10 minutes, then heat. Number 2, spinach. A dietary giant holding elements that stall malignant unit cloning, shield your heart system, and provide a grand array of protectors and folate that your genetic code truly needs to stay well. And number 1, beets with their amazing betalain dyes, their blood pressure cutting nitrates, and their betaine elements that back the very genetic tools your body uses to block malignancy. Now, here is my direct clinical view on all of this. These vegetables are not a swap for doctor care. If you have been told you have malignancy or any grave illness, please work with your medic and your specialist team. What I am telling you is that the proof is massive. Your food is one of the most strong things you can manage when it comes to cutting your risk of malignancy and long-term illness. According to the American Cancer Society, nearly 18% of malignancies in the United States are directly tied to bad food and lack of physical move, meaning a huge part is avoidable. What you pick to eat each day is far from small. It acts as support. It sends steady cues to your units, your genetic code, and your guard system. And the academic proof is clear. These 4 vegetables, broccoli, garlic, spinach, and beets, should be a steady and regular part of your food in large amounts. I want you to take steps starting this week, not next month, not when life gets quiet, but right now. Start by adding just one of these vegetables to your plates each day. Watch how your frame reacts and grow that routine over time. Your frame is very skilled at fixing and shielding itself when you give it with the right help. If this data made a mark on you, and I truly hope it did, go ahead and hit the like button because it helps YouTube show this note to others who truly need it. And if you have not joined yet, make sure you do and flip on the ring alert so you never miss a post. Every week I share science-based doctor-led facts made to help you take real control of your wellness. The next clip I highly suggest you watch is where I show the top 5 foods that are quietly hurting your guard system. Foods many wellness-aware people eat daily without seeing the damage they are doing. That clip will test what you think you know, so do not skip it. I am Dr. LANA Mitchell. Thank you for giving your faith to me. Stay curious, stay taught, and I will see you in the next